What's going on, baby? Off Work Sports. I want to talk about the trades. I want to talk about the Sixers. I want to talk to you why 2008 and 2009 was the most important year for the 76ers. I'm going to tell you who was there and why, and the transition from trusting the process and the results that you get from trusting the process. Let's get into the trades first. Let's get into the new Sixers lineup. Let's get into the reason why the Sixers look like they are going to be the East Coast representatives in the finals. There's no doubt in my mind right now that this team, as set up, is the strongest team in the East, and I'll tell you why. Additions over the last 3 days. Okay, I wanted to wait till all these cleared, and a lot of people reporting quickly. But after what happened to Nick Stauskas and poor Wade Baldwin, go look them up. I didn't want to be quick and say the move and then start to talk about the results. We'll see. First off, James Ennis Jr., probably last trade of the group. Houston Rockets cash giveaway. They added another defensive forward. What they are setting up to do here, there is a strategy behind this. It looks to me they are preparing for Durant. I don't care what you tell me or how you say it. Kevin Durant is being prepared for by this team. They have an onslaught of these long forwards who can play multiple positions as far as from a 4 to a 3, and in some cases, like a Corey Brewer, even at his age, can play a 2. These guys will be a headache for Kevin Durant. And you know who else they're going to be a headache for? Because if you can prepare for Kevin Durant, guess who else you can prepare for? Kawhi Leonard of the Toronto Raptors. So James Ennis is added. Let's keep going down. The big trade. The big trade was with the LA Clippers. They received Big Bobo. First of all, what an addition of Bobo, okay? Bobo is 7'3", 298 Enigma, who will definitely pay dividends as a backup center to Joel Embiid, who I was worried about as far as his minutes. With Bobo in there, you have a big center who can provide relief. He also is a rim protector. His body alone will be a rim protector. So excellent pickup with Boban. I call him Bobo. I apologize. I'll keep going down. That's his nickname to me. Big addition, Mike Scott. Don't sleep on Mike Scott, a stretch 4, in my opinion. He can play the 3, but he's really a stretch 4, 6'8", another long body. He can knock down the 3. You remember they lost Darius Saric, and I thought, okay, they lost a little bit of the stretch 4 capabilities. They get that back right here with Mike Scott. He is a all-around filler. I really like this pickup. As long as they give him minutes, he can produce from a scoring perspective. Let's get into the biggest addition here, Tobias Harris. I skipped over. I wanted to go first to last in impact. Tobias Harris, an all-star. This is a rental. They knew Jimmy Butler was a rental from Minnesota. So what do you say in a year when the East looks a little bit open? The Celtics are not performing as well. The Toronto Raptors are looking good, but hey, they look beatable. You've been able to keep up. You go all in. And these two rentals may have the best chance in their careers of getting to a championship. Tobias Harris was the biggest addition, and now you're looking at a big 4 for the 76ers. Tobias, Jimmy, Joel Embiid, and then you add on Mr. Ben Simmons, who I think is being passed up on. I know I've been making fun of him, can't shoot a jump shot, but he's still Tim Duncan-like, in my opinion, if he wanted to, in the post, which will pay dividends. Let me go into the last addition that I think is important, that everyone's glossing over. Adding in your bothering forwards, which is Corey, James Ennis. You get another hard-nosed, bothering forward in Jonathan Simmons from the Orlando Magic, who looked great with the San Antonio Spurs. What a pickup. What moves this was. This is an all-around player, mid-range, okay with the three-point shot, not great, but can drive. A strong defensive player. You now have your catalyst in place to be able to support a playoff run and possibly beat up the Toronto Raptors, barring any, okay, big thing here, health injuries. So your depth chart is nuts. You got Embiid, you got Bobo, you got Amir Johnson, you got Mr. Jonah Bolden, who I like at the power forward position. You solidified that back. So, hey, Boogie, we got a couple things coming at you. 1, 2, 3. Okay? These 3 will be the headaches. Amir Johnson can be a headache. Okay? You go down. You go down to the power forward position. Hey, Draymond, you want some work? You want some problems? Okay. You got Benny. You got Mike. You got John Simmons. I know he's 6'6", but he's a botherer. You got Ennis. You got Brewer. Hey, Klay Thompson. This is the only X factor where there may be an issue. You'll be Klay Thompson versus Jimmy Butler. Okay? Let's not forget about the three-point specialist and I think all-around player who's gaining some fan recognition about his playing style in Furkan Korkmaz. He's another European player that's doing very well in this league. It can shoot the three. Good scoring ability defensively is something to watch for. But this is the area where I think they are solidified at the 4 guard position, from the 2 guard all the way to the power forward position. They have a plethora of bodies to throw at you, and these guys are productive. They can all score inside. They have good mid-range. No one's as good a three-point shooter as the Golden State Warriors, but you got a strong lineup there. Let's go into where I see the weakness come in and advantages. But they've solidified everything. We know that Ben Simmons plays the point guard role, but at the 2 guard position and in point guard, we got a little bit of a gap. T.J. McConnell is an animal. He's a great fundamental player. He makes smart plays. He does the right things. Is he enough against Steph Curry? Okay. Is J.J. Redick, who is actually playing the 2 guard role here because Ben Simmons plays the point guard, he will probably have to guard Steph Curry, or it will be Butler. And that's where I see a little bit of a gap. They can throw a lot of bodies out there. That's where these 3-and-D or 2-and-D players, Brewer, Butler, Ennis, Simmons, come in handy because you can throw them around in a lot of different roles. I wish Zaire Smith was available to throw at Mr. Steph Curry. That would have been a great addition. Or Markelle Fultz, but they traded him away to get Jonathan Simmons. So, again, they're going to have to look at that point guard position. I think that is the only gap, and that will be the X factor is Steph Curry's play. They can take care of Klay. They can take care of Durant a little bit, hinder him. They can take care of Draymond. They can take care of Joel Embiid. But the Sixers cannot take care of Curry with J.J. Redick. I know he's a 2 guard, guys. I know it. But I don't think Simmons can guard Curry full time. J.J. Redick and T.J. McConnell. Okay? J.J. Redick and T.J. McConnell cannot make it happen. They need to drop one of these guys, Haywood Smith. I don't know if I haven't seen Shake play. I don't know if he's quick or fast. They need to find a defensive guard. I think there's some available in the G League that can be able to just keep up with Mr. Steph Curry. And that's the only gap I see. But great moves. Front winners in the East. You got the trades. Let me go into 2009. Who's making all this happen? In 2009, they got a trade from the Atlanta Hawks, and they received Mr. Elton Brand. Elton Brand is now the GM of the 76ers. Elton Brand is now the GM of the year this year. Thank you, Mr. Elton Brand. What great moves this team made, okay? What great moves this team has made in the last 3 days, in the last year. The moves they made from drafting, Nerlens Noel, Jahlil Okafor. I mean, several good drafts, but it never paid dividends, right? If we go from 2014, let's get there. Look at the roster here. High draft pick. They're able to bring over. I want to start from 12. Let's start from 12. I think that's when really the process. So 12 was a horrible year, right? They've had players. They had Iguodala. They had Drew Holiday, who's now an all-star. That Williams was a borderline all-star at that time period, right? And they had to rebuild. They had, by the way, they had Nikolai Vujicic, baby, okay, who's on the Magic doing great things. Again, development, being on the right team. These are things that make sense, guys. You can't just draft a guy and expect him to make it happen. I didn't even know Nikolai Vujicic was on the 76ers before. Look at this guy now. He's near all-star talent with the Magic, even though they're losing like a damn avalanche. You got to trust the process. So they go into next year, man. They got in Kwame. This is probably a hard year. Nick Young, again, Drew Holiday, same guys, Jay Rich. I believe 14, 15. I'm trying to get. Okay, that's it. I think the 13, 14 was the beginning, right? Okay, so I love Tony Rowan. He went away. Mike Carter-Williams, again, had an all-star year for the Sixers, but then just went away. Nerlens Noel was a big pick, right? Big pick out of Kentucky, supposed to pay dividends, defensive presence. That's when they started, right? Then everyone said, God damn, trust the process. We'll make it next year. They sucked again. Trust the process. Who they get in the draft? They drafted Joel Embiid again to pair Nerlens Noel. Okay? Again, trusting the process. They added Covington. They added Jeremy Grant, who's having a great year with the Oklahoma City Thunder. It's all about teams here. They go into 15, 16. I know this is long-winded. They go get Okafor again. It's like, man, another big? He's just stacking assets, right? He's just stacking assets, right? Gets Embiid, still has Embiid, who was, I think, recovered that year. Okay? And look who's still there, guys, by the way. Look who's still there watching this organization run and seeing its foundations and seeing where it needs to go. Elton Brand is still on the roster in 15, 16, folks. There's a reason for that, and you can see it now, right? To go 16, 17, they get a little bit better, right? Okafor's still there. They have Embiid, who's coming back. Then they draft Ben Simmons, right? Again, trusting the process. The process has worked. 17, 18, assets, right? Continue on. Embiid, I think this is their first run where you say, Embiid is magic. So finally they got a hit. Right, Nerlens Noel didn't work out too well. Jahlil Okafor didn't work out too well for them. But they finally get a hit with Simmons and Embiid. They're starting to make things happen with this lineup. Okay? Now we jump into the 18-19 season. They move a lot of assets, and now they have this. The strongest lineup I have ever seen out of the East in a long time. One that finally makes me weary of the Warriors walking through a championship. The only thing that would hinder this team right now is the point guard position, experience, and injuries. Those are three things that I'm fearful of. If they can solidify at least one of those, it gives them a better chance of possibly being the Warriors, who have better cohesiveness and have been a better team. I'm not throwing Toronto Raptors out of here, but I just want to go over who I think is the strongest team out of the East. And there's no doubt in my mind, the 76ers look to be the players to be fearful of in the East. I don't think there's any other team that compete unless the Milwaukee Bucks have an all-season defensive presence because they're a defensive team, or Toronto Raptors also have an all-season defensive presence in the playoffs. That's the only way that you'll see a variance here, and I like what I'm seeing from these teams. Great job, Elton Brand. Congratulations. Brand's been there 08, 09 when he joined. That was the beginning of the success story. Took 11 years, but look at it now. What a great team. What great moves. I know these are rentals. What do you do next year? I won't get into that. But hey, all or nothing. Time doesn't wait for no man. Let's go Sixers. Peace. I'm out. All 4 sports.